Hey, what's up everybody? BDO 44 coming at you with another video. Alright, so I was wondering what was going to make me turn on the camera, and I heard what Ye just posted. I was like, oh, somebody on the prayer list said some bullshit. What's up? That give me something to talk about. So essentially, Kanye West got on whatever platform he did and essentially said anybody that's talking about Palestine who's never been to Palestine doesn't actually care about what's going on in Palestine. He essentially said that the only reason why we care about Palestine is because the media told us to. And we don't give a F about that. It's just something we post on our timeline. If we ain't never been there, we don't know what's going on there. Well, I never been there, but I definitely care about what's going on there. And no, the media didn't tell me a damn thing, Kanye West. Neither did you. I saw what I needed to see based on people who had their boots on the ground showing us exactly what was happening. And if you knew more about what was going on, instead of being in your bubble, doing all whatever you were doing for the last 2 years, you would understand the media wasn't even talking about Palestine. We put pressure on them to talk about it. And because what was being said was so easily debunked that was pro-Israel, it left them in a position to either look crazy as they speak or allow some logic into their communications. What it exposed is that the media didn't give a damn about Palestine and was pro-Israel throughout the whole process. See, Kanye West is reacting to the masses moving in a certain direction without actually digging underneath the surface to see what the hell the context is and what it is he's talking about. This is just like any other person who happens to see the masses going towards something, or a great deal of people going towards something, and then putting a copy and paste thought onto that without actually knowing what the hell they're talking about. Kanye doesn't know what he's talking about. Because if he was paying attention to the situation, he would know the media has not been talking about Palestine until, as I just said, we put pressure on them to do so. They were coming out giving us the Hamas is the bad guy rhetoric. And then Israel left them no hope to stand on that lie, but to look like they had no sense in their heads because Israel wasn't doing nothing to back up that lie. Constantly allowing all of their lies to be debunked in real time and just standing there saying, well, you have to believe us. Like, no, you have to make your lies make some damn sense. The loose ends of your lies have to tie together. When you have enough of those examples shown, and then you have people like myself who've been looking at this in their phones, seeing what's going on with the genocide, watching the screaming mothers holding dead children, and fathers walking down the streets with sheets wrapped up with their children inside of them. When you see enough of that, you put pressure on people to have conversations. And that's what you're seeing there, not the other way around. The media didn't make us care about Palestine. We forced the media to tell the truth. And slowly but surely they're trying to get around doing so, but nevertheless it's bleeding through. That's actually what's happening there. Have a conversation with somebody, eh? Have a conversation with somebody, because if anything, you sent us down the rabbit hole of why we should question what the hell it is that the Jews are doing. You opened the eyes, you did more for raising awareness for Palestine than anybody else. Because you said all what you said, which made people say you were anti-Semitic, which made people go down the rabbit hole, which ultimately led them to Palestine, which ultimately led them to giving a crap about Palestine. Kanye West needs to understand, when he opens his mouth, a lot of people are listening. And when he points in a certain direction, a lot of people are going to look. So if you're going to blame anybody for why people care about something, start with yourself, sir. Because you put a big old target on the Jews and everything else. We found out after that. There was two things that made me look at the Jews, who happened to turn out to be the Zionists, of course. But there's two things that made me pay attention to them. You and Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving told me to check out Hebrews to Negroes. Told me everything I needed to know from there. And you, in all of your selfish intentions to make yourself wealthy, and them doing what they do when black people try to get wealthy, put a target on them by doing all that weird stuff that you were doing in their name, trying to offend them or what have you. That's what opened my eyes to even go down that rabbit hole. And of course the Holy Spirit would make it so that at the same time these idiots are engaging in the beginning of the worst genocide that we've known in our lifetime. But yeah, all of that happened at the same time. All of it. It was those three things that made most of the people who are in the Western world care about Palestine. Or at least go down the rabbit hole where we find out what's going on there, rather than just take the media's word for it. I don't know what side you're on when it comes to the Jews. Probably your own. You're unhappy with them because they ain't giving you your half of the cut or whatever business you want. You wouldn't give a shit what they're doing, just like a lot of these celebrities don't, if it weren't hurting your interests. So cut the bullshit. If anybody doesn't care about Palestine, Palestine is you. You just don't like the Jews because you ain't allowed to be one. You want to do everything you can to put yourself in a position to be as wealthy and as powerful and as influential as them, so you can go about your weird sexual desires that we know your ass is engaging in. Let's stop bullshitting. Because there's people like Kanye West that want to speak out of both sides of their mouth and then scurry behind mental illness like they really just sheepishly find themselves in situations like this. No, you just up for sale, and you don't like the numbers that's been given to you by either side. That's what's really going on there. If the Zionists paid you enough money, you'd shut your mouth and be quiet about any of this, as you've been doing. And one day you want to be holy with the Holy Spirit and to talk about Jesus Christ, and the next day you want to talk about women bleaching their assholes. Don't come to me about how I'm just sheepishly finding myself following anybody, because if I follow you, I'm going to hell and heaven at the same time, apparently. You got me going to church and doing weird sexual shit at the same time on some R. Kelly shit. What are you on, bro? Somebody needs to ask Kanye West, what you actually on, bro? Because one day you're saying F the Jews, the next day you're saying shit like this. I don't really know what you on, brother. And I don't want to hear shit about the mental illness, because I got mental illness. I suffer from mental illness, which is why I'm crazy enough to address you like this, and them. What the hell are you on? And one day you with the Holy Spirit, you with God and Jesus Christ. The next day you with the Jews. And next day after that you mad at them. And this day you wearing a black KKK uniform, trying to speak in all types of weird code and all types of shit. Bro, what are you on? One day you want to rock with the hood. The next day you wearing a hood, pretending like you're a black KKK member. Bro, who are you? Who do you want to be, bro? Because we sitting up here fighting for these people's lives and shit, and you sitting up here pointing at us like we did something wrong when you were the one that pointed us over there. Now, you and your family been on my prayer list for years and years, but I got more people on that list that I trust less than you. That don't mean it's a good person that the Lord has put in my heart to pray for. Sometimes he put people on that list, and I wasn't introduced to those people in positive ways. Some of the people directly oppose certain things that I stand for. You ain't the worst person on that list. You certainly ain't the best, sir. But what I can tell you is I pray for you regardless. The Lord told me whether I agree with somebody or don't, if they're on that list, just pray for them. Which is why I have the confidence to address you. And I will be putting your name on this. What are you on? Because I understand that one day, all of what it is that you've said is going to make some kind of connective sense. But this particular thing sound like you just jumped out the window. And I've been watching you engage in symbolism and try to tell us stuff without saying stuff, and I've made excuses for you while other people were confused by you. But when it comes to this one, this is the one where I say, yo, I gotta speak up. I gotta ask this man, what are you on, bro? Because there's children dying, and I'm watching them be slaughtered in my phone. And essentially who you tried to read was someone like myself who really cares a great deal, who posts a great deal about this. And I ain't following nobody, because if I was following people, I wouldn't say a damn thing, because that's what most people I see and know are doing. So what are you on? Are you trying to deter people from paying attention to what's going on there? What's your purpose, sir? First thing you say about Palestine is something lightweight in support of the Israel, essentially telling all of us who are pro-Palestine that we need to more or less shut our mouths unless we've been there. Knowing that if we go there, we're likely going to be killed. good portion of us, especially Christians or Muslims, if we go over there, we better be ready to die, because it ain't gonna be friendly for us. They're not giving us basketball contracts. You understand what I'm saying? They ain't about to offer me no $100 million like they would Westbrook or some shit like that. I'm going over there because I'm trying to free people if I go over there. I need to stay away from there if I want my life to continue, because I know I ain't gonna survive that. And so what I'm telling you is this. Some of us are raising our awareness, using our platforms to speak up on this type of stuff. And it's not because we don't care, it's because we're sick of seeing people die, man. I'm sick of seeing children die, Kanye. Shit that you've been in your bubble too far up that woman's ass to even see. Too busy trying to support Diddy throughout his sexual crimes to even know what the hell the rest of us are paying attention to because of your pointing in that direction. You know what we've seen? You know how much trauma we saw? You know how much trauma them people are going through? Get off that bullshit. And I tell you that to your face, bro. I ain't one of these industry interested people. I'm not interested in no leverage, nothing, billion. I don't give a shit how much money you got, bro. I look you in your face. You need to get up off that bullshit. Whose side are you on? This ain't about money for some of us, bro. This ain't about attention for some of us, bro. It ain't. I don't have two pennies to rub together and I care about these people, bro. Ain't here to make money. Ain't here for none of that. Ain't what God put me on this earth to be worried about, bro. When I'm watching children die, I'm not thinking about myself and if the killers gave me enough money to make sure that I'm whole or whatever the fuck you on, bro. Have a conversation with some real people, bro, so you know what's going on in these situations before you open your mouth and offend some people who are standing up against the status quo, just like you told us to do in so many different ways. I ain't followed nobody in the media say nothing real about Palestine. Nothing real, bro. Every bit of the interest that it came from, in regards to myself, came from people on the grounds out there who have lost lives, who were showing us their trauma as it was happening, crying out to God to help them as their children were slaughtered in their faces, bro. That's the people that made me pay attention to what's going on over there. Certainly wasn't you or none of these celebrities that ain't said nothing. People that I look up to and look to be entertained by and look to be inspired by, they ain't had nothing to say because they are contractually obligated to the killers. And after 2 years of watching this shit, this is the first thing I hear you say. You open your mouth. You're supposed to be one of the heroes of my people. Disappointed, bro, in a different kind of way than ever before. I didn't care about none of that other stuff because half of it I understood. It was symbolism. It was symbolic. You were doing things because you were trying to raise awareness for certain things so that you could point people in certain directions so they would understand your plight and what it is that's going on behind the scenes in different ways. You were trying to show us mirrors of ourselves. When it comes to this, I don't think you even thought about this. I think you just saw a bunch of people going towards something and said, let me open my mouth without actually educating yourself on what was going on over there. And this is my same point of view in regards to people who are detracting away from the idea that the people who made the movie Superman were not supposed to do this because they're not doing enough. And what I mean by do this is they have taken the premise of the Superman movie and essentially made it Palestine versus Israel, pro-Palestine. And there are a lot of pro-Palestinian people who are unhappy about that movie. But my point of view is this. If this is what's going to make America see the parallels between that for which is going on over there and the proper way of looking at it for which is the opposite of what the media is telling us, then I think it's a blessing from God that we have one of the biggest brands that we've had in our country going against what is being told to us propaganda-wise on how to view something that is affecting human lives. They're trying to exterminate an entire people. Kanye and the most famous Palestinian ain't got shit to say about it. Do you understand what I'm saying? And you trying to tell me That I'm following the status quo and I don't give a shit about this? Their biggest guy don't give a shit about this. And you wanna come at the people who do? This is ridiculous, man. This is good versus evil, and honestly, I'm wondering, who are you? Who do you want to be, man? And I know you got too many yes men and too many people who have their hand in your pocket and too many people want to push you full of drugs and too many people this, that, and the third to tell you the truth, bro. None of these people gonna tell you the truth, bro. And let's let you run rampant. And let your mind just run rampant. Well, whatever you want to say, however you want to move, you want to put a black KKK uniform on your body, they let you do that shit. Nobody's holding you accountable for nothing, bro. Just like ain't nobody holding these Zionists accountable for nothing. Just running and doing whatever the hell people want to do, man. No adults in the room. Shit, tired of y'all, man. Money grubbing, demon feeding people. I'm tired of each and every one of y'all. That's why these kids over there suffering, because you got idiots like that who are arguing that point. You got real people in the field, man, from poor countries fighting these assholes, bruh. The Yemeni, they fighting these assholes. These people got less to eat than I got at the house right now. But they trying to fight for what's real over there. What you got to say about them? They only care because of the media too? Come on, bruh. At some point in time, we got to start being real serious about what it is that's happening here, because it's just a mirror image of the shit that happened to our ancestors. That's all this is. As I've been telling y'all on my camera for weeks, for years now, 2 years now. This ain't nothing but the same old shit. South African apartheid all over again. Pilgrims versus Indians all over again. We done seen this movie before, bro. There ain't nothing but some white supremacy against indigenous people all over again, bro. And the last thing I want to hear is him, Kanye West, who's got the ear of every black person who's paying attention, telling all of us that we ain't got no right to care about this because the status quo is telling us to, when the status quo ain't even saying that. It's literally telling us the opposite. There's a lot of people out here who say they're empowered by the Holy Spirit. Some of them false prophets, some of them real, some whatever, bro. Okay? Some people, they believe today, tomorrow they don't, depending on how they feel. Whatever, bro. I actually am powered by God. I would have killed myself a long time ago if it wasn't for my faith in God and his confirmation upon my life that he wanted me to keep going, bro. That's the only reason why I'm even here. It's the only reason why I'm talking to y'all. I'd have been quit on this shit. He knows that. I'm at a point in my life where I'm happy right now. I'm good with my life. Partially because I found purpose in activism. Partially. Purpose in art as well. I can look in the mirror and be proud of myself for the first time because I stood up for something. And am standing for something. And it ain't about exalting me or making me feel better about my life. It's about those people, man. Before me, for which selfishness comes naturally, this is what keeps me going. I ain't got it all together, and I don't expect anybody else to have it all together. But at the same time, what side are we trying to be on? And if we're only on our side to self-exalt, man, don't call on Jesus Christ like you believe in him like that no more. Don't come up here telling me you want to lead a church service and do all this singing and shit if you ain't really serious about it, bro. Because you're just a mirror image of the same people that's engaging in the genocide. They say they stand behind God doing all the evil shit they do. You stand behind God and doing what, sir? That's what I'm asking. People call themselves Christians and going around treating their neighbor all bad and stuff. I don't want to hear nothing else from none of y'all. I'm not going to live in y'all lie no more. I'm going to point out each and every one of y'all, and I ain't care what happens to me when I do. That's what I'm on right now. What are you on? Because at some point in time, we got to stop moving in the same directions we've been going in that allowed us to see these consequences, man, that are harsh upon these people who don't deserve it. Harsh upon children, bro. While we having feeble conversations that only affect us and our image, people are dying. In countries we don't give a shit about, with money that we're paying. And they're using the leverage that we pay into to fund that damn genocide while you telling me I don't care about Palestine. I'm freaking paying for it. And expect to in the afterlife if I don't do something now. That's what inspires people like myself to speak, because we know better. And I don't know what's going to get a lot of others who haven't spoken up to speak. But I suggest while they're still breathing, they do so. Because a lot of y'all think y'all damned already, but it's a different level of hell that a lot of y'all gonna go toward for being fine with genocide, bro. All the stupid shit you did in your little personal life that affected whoever you was around, this affects a lot more. Your silence affects a lot more. He gonna burn you hotter. I'm letting y'all know. Some of y'all do evil because y'all think hell is where you're gonna go, but there's levels to that. Let me be the one to tell you there's levels to that. I want people to understand, man. I don't expect to be a wealthy man. I walked past a Lamborghini today, something that Kanye can buy 20 times over, something that Zionists can buy 20 times over with the money they're spending to kill these children. 20 million times over with the money they're using to spend these children. I don't expect to ever be able to afford that, man. It ain't because I ain't talented enough. It's because I know if I reach for it, I'm going to have to adhere to these assholes. I'm going to be in a war that Kanye's in to ensure that I get the money I'm supposed to get from these people. It ain't worth it. Wealth ain't worth it. When you can think for yourself, you know wealth ain't worth it. It ain't worth it. If I got to look in the mirror in my $30 million house and see a coward who could have spoke up to save children's lives and used my influence to help sway the tide on what is a genocide in my lifetime, I can't look that pretty woman in the eye and say I'm a good man, I'm a great man because I got money. I'm not that type of stupid. I'm not that type of evil. Though a lot of you are. A lot of you are. Because you're so caught up in wanting to be able to afford 1 million of those Lamborghinis and trying your very best not to face whatever the wickedest version of poverty is that you are terrified of, that you allow yourself to become something worse than that. There's something worse than broke. You know what it is? It's a fucking coward. That's what's worse than being poor. It's being a coward. It's being a grown-ass man watching children suffer at the hands of other cowards and not having nothing to say about it because of your own damn interests. That's worse than being poor. You spiritually bankrupt motherfuckers. Somebody needs to tell y'all this because you ain't going to have that told to you in the music that these Zionists have been investing in for people like Kanye West to push down your damn throat, have you worshiping their money. What did you say, Kanye? Make you they hate ourselves and love their wealth? Yeah, that shit. They're not going to tell you that things worse than being poor. What our reputation is as Americans in 2025 during this genocide is worse than being poor. Nobody's going to tell you that because everybody tells you being poor is the worst thing in the world. But there are people who are poor to have dignity. We lack it when we let 2-year-olds and babies in incubators die so that our financial structure can stay in place, only to feed some and leave the rest to slaughter in our own damn land. While we chase each other's tails around about which party we support, worship, or what have you. These idiots are letting pedophiles do whatever the hell they want to do in the name of themselves so they can keep their structure going. There are things worse than poor. Many are poor. They still find a way to stand up to these bastards. Palestinian people are poor. They're the strongest of us all. At what point in time are we going to start realizing we've been fed lies just like the people of Israel been fed lies about how they better than everybody else and it's okay for them to hurt people, for them to save themselves? At some point in time, we got to realize we all been fed some type of devilish poison that we believe, and ain't none of that shit helping us to a good reputation in the future. And that's why y'all run around in devilish confusion just like the people engaged in this damn genocide. Devilish confusion. Spiritual bankruptcy. That's all that is. And you could look into your phone and see people dying, children dying, and then you hold accountable the people who are bringing up the fact that it's happening. Look at them like they're terrorists because they wouldn't allow it to happen like your cowardice would. At some point in time, we got to realize we've been fed poison. So what my first video was about. Freaking sheep ain't smart enough to think their way out of this evil shit that they've been fed all their damn lives. Grow out of it. Look around. Use your brain. Y'all letting y'all religion, y'all letting y'all capitalism, y'all let y'all devilish sexual desires lead y'all into having worse reputations than any of your ancestors. Putting your whole, whatever the hell you want to call this, democracy at risk. Your reputation in the presence of surrounding nations at risk. Chasing people who don't mean nothing good for nobody because of the bullshit they believe in their heads. Some of the most talented, most influential people in the world back in Israel because of dollars. Idiots will chase a dollar off a cliff into a pool of lies. And then with the same breath, call out to God and ask for mercy. Tired of y'all. Enough. I long stopped caring about what comes out of my mouth on this damn camera, man. I speak how I feel, when I feel, how I feel. Whoever's listening, thank you for listening. If you're not interested, that's fine. I don't care, bro. I don't care. Because I know my God is going to do something with my image. He's going to do something with these videos. Anything that needs to be heard will be heard. I ain't worried about that. I let him control the numbers. Let him control, that's his domain, not man's. Things that y'all doing, chasing numbers, trying to chase success, that's God's domain. Y'all worried about stuff y'all don't even fully understand. The numbers, value. Let it God, we're under God, bro. If y'all really believe in God, then y'all stop disrespecting him with this bull crap. Capitalism. Can't take a dime of it with you, but that legacy that you leave behind, that cowardice you leave behind, they're going to be talking about that for the rest of eternity. We'll be talking about how y'all allowed things to happen for the rest of eternity. Exactly how long do you think it's going to take for us to heal from genocide? When we keep letting it happen every couple hundred years. Not even. Every 90 years. I want to condemn the Nazis, but then going to shake Israel's hand. Man, get out of here. Bunch of cowards, bro. I ain't with none of it. And that's why I made this video, because I needed to address Kanye West. I needed to address anybody that would listen to me in regards to this. Yo, if you're going to stand in the way of awareness of being raised for what's happening to the Palestinian people, do understand that you are just as bad as Israel. I don't give a damn what side you say you're on. I don't give a damn if you care or not. You are with them if you're going to try to shut the minds off of those who are trying to awaken to the realization of what's been happening over there. If for any reason you got a problem with any of this stuff that's going to wake the masses up, that's going to alert people to what's been happening there, you are over there. You might as well put on a Star of David hat, throw a yarmulke on or something like that, and just call yourself a Zionist, bro, because that's exactly the side you're working for. And as I've been telling y'all, someone who reads and understands spiritual energy, that's Satan's side. Ain't nothing over there but devil. That's it. It's just the devil. That's true Satanism right there. I had a homegirl, someone else on my prayer list. She put a question up there. She said, what did the devil actually do? What did the devil actually do? He tried to steal everything from God, including his happiness, his dignity, all of his creation, all of his everything that he's ever made. He wants to take it. Do what with it? Who knows? Seems to me that he's fighting a losing battle. Seems to me that it's really just a self-destructive button. You know that people say suicide by cop? That, to me, devil's suicide by God. Because you're not going to win that battle. But just the same, that's what the devil did. If anybody's wondering what's wrong with the devil is an eraser. He's looking to take everything and lie about everything, just like Israel. There's no end to his lies. There's no respect for his opponent. He gonna lie whether you know he's lying or not. He don't care. Just like Israel. Just like Zionists. They don't care if they're caught in their lie. It doesn't matter either way. They're lying to be lying. They're not lying to convince anybody anything. They're lying because it's the only thing their mouths do. And when you come to understand that, you understand them better. I ain't telling the truth about nothing. For what? That's really what it is for them. Palestinian people are caught in the crosshairs because they believe their lies and they're aggressive in their actions toward fulfilling that passion for living in those lies. That is what it is for them. That's what it's been. And if you try to do business with them, that's what you're dealing with. That's the problem. A lot of people don't know what they're dealing with because they're too busy chasing the money. You don't know what you're dealing with. You sign a contract with people like that. You have no idea what their ideologies are. You don't know the first thing in regards to context for why you shouldn't be dealing with their ideologies until you dig a little bit, for which we were never taught to do. And they understand that. That's why they call themselves Jews. Above reproach, chosen by God. They know you're going to adhere to God, but not really have a relationship with God, just the religion itself. So they can just hide behind the things that you're never going to dig under and do whatever the hell they want to do. And you're going to pledge undying loyalty to them off of the strength of your stupidity and your shallow nature. Shallow nature of how you approach every topic. Shallow nature of what it is that you're chasing in regards to your money and material. Just shallow. Surface level people. We are America. That's why people get to do genocide with our money and demand that we comply to them in that shit. It's happening because y'all shallow in every way, shape, and form and not wise enough or spiritually strong enough to hold yourself accountable for it or even look at it like it's something not to be. Shallow. Things that are worse than being poor. Being spiritually shallow and lacking in humanity. For children, the most precious of us all. The ones who are going to take care of us, the ones who are going to carry forward, the ones who are going to raise our grandchildren, the ones who are going to come up with all the solutions for whatever the heck is coming. Y'all don't care about them when y'all digging around looking for money that you can't even take with you. Spending thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on things when people are starving. Buying Lamborghinis because you can. When you come out of the same poverty that these people are in. And you tell them all to lace up their bootstraps, right? And if you had an opportunity to, you'd make them bootstraps too expensive for them to even pay for. It gets to a point where we got to start pointing this stuff out, man. People shallow. And they're proud of it. Just like they're genociders and they're proud of it. Enough. I know I did good here, man. At some point in time, we just got to start talking to these people, man. They want our money. They want our attention. They want us to click on everything they got going on. They want us to follow whatever they got going on. Want us to listen to their pain. All this different shit you artists want. I'm an artist too. But at some point in time, you got to start standing for something other than yourself. It can't just be about you. It can't just be about everybody paying attention to you. Because if we all focus on what it is you care about, then all of a sudden you're happy with the masses, aren't you? But let us focus on something that ain't got nothing to do with you. All of a sudden it's like, well, what do you focus on them for? What do we focus on you for? What are you giving us? But more of the same reasons to stay shallow. What are you giving us? Talking out of one side of your mouth, talking out the other the next day. BDL 44, I thank y'all for watching. I'm out.